So today we're taking out and replacing the sunshade. This one's ripped, torn, we cut it out. This 2010 to 2017, I believe, Volkswagen Tiguan. It applies to the Q5 as well. So you want to get the sunroof to the highest position open there, but not slid back. So how we're going to do that is I'm going to turn the knob, and when it's up all the way, I'm going to have him pull the battery cable off so that it's just tilted at its highest position, but not slid back. Go. Yep, perfect. Yeah, now that we have this tilted back all the way, you can see there's two screws, one on each side here, and the same thing over there. And I believe that is a T20, but be careful when taking these out. There is washers on the bottom and the top of this, so don't lose those. There I have a quarter-inch T25 quarter-inch socket Allen key, or not Allen, I'm sorry, Torx T25. After you get these bolts out, we'll get these washers out later. There's two on each side. It's hard to see on camera. There we go. You can see the little indent, and there's another one right back here. You use an extension and an Allen, shoot, I keep saying Allen, a Torx key to get those two off each side.
Also a T25?
I believe so. It may be a T20. Okay, after getting those four screws, two on each side, just push up, straight up on the glass, and it should come out of the car. So go ahead and push up on it.
Okay.
So there's 6 screws total that we took out. And there it comes. All right, coming to you. You got the whole thing?
Yep.
There we go. Okay, now that we have this out, there should be washers right here. There's 2 of them. They're stacked on top of each other. Did you get them both?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you had them both for a second. Now we're going to take these out on both sides. Plastic pieces held in by a T20 on both sides. Do not try to pull this rubber seal off. It's glued, and you'll never get it back on. Under this, there's a plastic tab. So we're going to pry with a small flathead screwdriver without breaking it. And then pull up, just like that. You can see this is the tab that clips underneath here. You want to leave this rubber attached in one piece. You don't need to peel this off. You can if you have to, but you can leave all this intact because we'll just put it back where it was when we're done. Do that on both sides. We removed this panel. There's no screws. You pull straight down and it pops right out. With that, you have this headliner. You don't need to take the whole headliner out of this car. You can just push this down. You can see in here, this black thing, this is the motor. We're gonna be unplugging it and unscrewing it. There's 3, I believe there's 3 Torx screws holding this to the roof of the car. We're gonna be taking this motor out, so that way we can reset everything. That way when we put it back together, it doesn't ruin our new sunshade, because it has to be realigned. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that motor. Now that we have the motor out, you can see where those screws are. There's just 3. They're T25 right there, down inside this hole, and then there's one while it's up there. It's between the motor and where it plugs in. So it sits in there like this, right there. Now that the motor's out, we can get to the sunshade itself, which is only held in by 2 screws. I believe it's T25s as well. There's one here, and there's one over here. Just this guy right there. So we can do just the same. We can get in here like this. They're T25s. I don't know if that's gonna work. It might be T20 actually.
I think they are.
Okay. Yeah, it is T20. Okay, we took the 2 screws out. So you just grab a hold of this thing and just pull. Now it's got to come out even. Go down, around like this. Oh, it's all bunched up and caught. There it is. Okay. So there's that. We got to get the rest of it out of there. You can see the leftover spring. It's all stuck inside the track. Okay, so we'll get the rest of it. We got to unhook it from the top. So now that the motor is out, this is free to move back and forth. That's the benefit of having the motor out. Otherwise, you're fighting this the whole time. So now that the motor is out, we're going to push this all the way to the back forward, or the furthest back position. So keep going right there. Once that's there, you can take this and lift these plastic things out. Once you lift it, you can pull them out.
What plastic things?
The gray things.
Oh, okay.
You lift it straight up off the track. Once it's off the track, this one in particular is cut already, so you can just take this out in one piece. But now that that's off, we can come in here and take what's left. This is a really bad case of this failure. Usually it's still attached, but this one's all cut out here. So there, get all the remnants out. This is an important part. If your aftermarket sunshade looks like this, where it's got this off-centered slotted type hole in the band, underneath this, you take this off, you twist it to get this band off of here. You'll see it has two hooks. You will never get this on with those two hooks in there. You have to cut. I'm going to use this Dremel. We're going to cut this back hook off, the one that's towards the back, like where it rolls up. The front hook will leave, but you'll see later why this is important. Here's the difference. Here's the one with the two hooks still intact, and here's the one with the hook cut off. I put a little bit of a bevel on it, shaved off the burrs. Make sure it's the back hook that you're cutting and not the front one. So I'll do the same thing on this side. We'll have these hooks cut off of there. Okay, we're going to be careful not to let this spring go, but we're going to leave the gray pieces off, the end pieces, and we're going to take this whole roll. We're just going to go in just kind of loosey-goose like that. We'll have to get it close like this. So with help, we're going to go up top and we're going to basically pull the roll through the car. So you pull this through here until you can get a hold of the band like this. And what we're trying to do is get it in the track. It goes right inside here so that this hole in the band should be in line with this track. And we'll show you what that looks like once we get it in there. I can't do it and film it at the same time. This is what this should look like. It's inside this track. This is probably the hardest part about this whole thing, is getting this in here. Once it's in there, you get a pick or a small screwdriver to keep it, and we'll pull it forward. Here, pull forward on that at the same time as this. And you want the fabric to go underneath it. Yep, and we'll show you what that looks like. All right, let me kind of align it here. And as soon as
okay, there it goes.
There it goes. Get the rubber out of the way. Now we gotta kind of keep it in there without, because I gotta pull the pick out of the hole. So anyway, you can hold this rubber out of the way too.
Yep.
And hold that right there. Just like before, the pick really...
Yeah, it sticks in there pretty good. There it goes. There you are.
Okay. So with that, we're going to slide it forward more. There, that's how it's supposed to go, with the cloth going right underneath there, just like that. Now,
okay,
with that staying there, we get the black piece. It goes under the cloth in the back. Just behind there. Like this. Sure, the cloth is above it. Like that. Now that hook in the front before, that we saw.
I think you got to go a little bit farther forward. There you
Yeah,
go.
like
right
this.
That. Yep, just like that.
And then we'll hook it, kind of like put the front in first. It should have a kind of a snap sound, but there. After you get them set in there and it's on the blue thing, push them forward, both forward a little bit till they're underneath this top plate so they can't pop off on both sides. Like that. And then now that that's set and relatively even, we're going to finish installing the roll above the headliner. When putting the new one in, you have to make sure that this lip all the way around here goes over those little foam pieces. You'll see them when you have this apart. There's foam pieces around on the top. This middle section, this lip, goes over top of those foam pieces. This recessed corner piece right here, make sure it's not sticking up above, like on top, that it's underneath. You'll probably see it when you're taking it when we're taking this apart. But see how it's underneath that and it's not on top? It's got to stay that way, both sides. Then you can screw this in with the 2 screws under here. Now we have it all set, we're gonna make sure that this is back. This spring right there, you can see one piece of the spring sticking out. See if we come over here, we see one, kind of 1.5 almost. We want to make, this is the important part, because if you don't do this right, you put the motor back in, this will all come in crooked and be all bunched up. So we're going to push this back until we have like that nice, I don't know, a little bit more than an 1/8 inch gap. There and there. The distance between the back of this piece of blue plastic and this aluminum track right here, just that spacing right there where that little spring is, has to be exactly the same. Once that's verified to be the same, see how this blue tab here is flush with the top of this gray? Has to be the same way. Let's get this out of your way. On both sides. See how that's nice and flush? That's nice and flush. The gap is the same. We can go ahead and snap these pieces of plastic in. Like that. Here's our motor. The teeth on here are slightly beveled, so you might have to kind of twist this back and forth while trying to get it up into that hole where the motor goes. Right there, that's where those 2 springs meet. There's the one, and the other one's on the other side. So it might take a little bit of doing, getting that motor set. This view. So we kind of got to go up over. It sits on top of this. Up over. This is what I mean. You kind of have to kind of move this back and forth a little bit to get it set up in that hole. There. Gray ones. Gray long ones. I like to start them up in here by hand. We've got the one that goes over here. The last one's a little tricky because you can't see it. It goes between the motor and where you plug it in. If you have a mirror, you could look, or if you're just really good at it like I am. So we'll snug all those up. Is it now?
Yep.
All right, it's plugged in. We got our screws in. We got this thing pushed up. You can see how that looks. All the way across. That's the second most trickiest part, is getting that set. And getting these little pins back in their little holes and making sure that this little curved scoop doesn't go up and over top of everything. It's got to go under the lip. You'll see it when you go to take it apart. Okay, we ran into a problem where when pushing the button forward, it only closed this far. Because if you remember, this was halfway forward. I shouldn't say halfway, about a quarter forward when we started this project, and we manually pushed it back. So the computer thinks that this is all the way shut. and no matter what you do hitting this button, it won't close anymore. So what we did is we pushed it all the way forward as far as it'll go, and so the car thinks that this is closed. So we then took the motor back out, and we're gonna manually shove this forward all the way, and then we're gonna stick the motor back in so that the car thinks it's closed and it actually is closed. All right, take 2 on the test. So we're gonna put the key in. So the sunshade is all the way closed. You can see it's nice and tight. We're gonna then just bump the back button. Getting ready to hit the forward button in case something crazy happens. That's it. Done. So we'll push it back. And
Put the window back in,
yep.
shut it, and never open it again.
He's scared. He doesn't trust it. All right, we're going to put this glass back in, and now is a perfect reminder to put both of these washers back on top of this. Now, you can either put them on here now and be real careful when installing this, or you can slip them under there afterward. I've also done it that way. But both washers go there. You stack both of them on top of each other, stick them there, so that's underneath this. So we'll do that on both sides. All right, so we got to fold my light, which is nice. I got this little plastic pry tool. You can see, there's our destination, that's the hole. So you should be able to use this without prying the glass up. You want to more or less push down on this rubber without tearing it. That's why I got this piece of plastic. And you want to start that screw in there by hand. I got this long extension here. So now that we have all those screws set in there, these are adjustable. You can see the glass here, there's like a lip. You want to push down on this like that. See how it went down? It's kind of bouncing. You want to push down on this to where the glass and like this is flat everywhere. So somebody, you can have a helper push down on this so where it's flat and even, and once it's flat, then you can tighten those 2 screws up on that side and this side, because it's adjustable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now that that's done, then you can come up here. Do not forget to tighten these, because it could cause serious problems with this other glass roof that closes on top of them. That would be bad. Okay, here's one that people ram, and that is these little metal clips. Make sure that they are lined up with their appropriate holes, these slots. Because if they're not, they'll get all bent and they'll never work again. Also, make sure that none of them, see how this one's missing?
I took it out because it's all bent.
Okay, make sure that they're not missing. And sometimes they leave behind. You have to take them out with a screwdriver and reinstall them, and making sure that they're not bent and that they look like nice little arrows like this. Okay, here it is all back together. I know the headline is a little messed up too, because that's a problem for another day. Open it. Yep. Tilt it. See, you're thinking like, oh, you could have just done this to open it all the way, but it actually opens further when you go to, see that little bit of further? That's why we did the disconnect the battery trick, because you get an extra 3/4 of an inch. So that closes, and we're just gonna touch this button, close. Shouldn't hear any clicking or binding. Should be a whisper quiet. There it is. And that's how you reinstall this new sunshade. As you can see, it's tight. This was like 75 bucks on eBay or Amazon. They all come from the same place. If you have any questions, please comment, because I'll try to help you, because I know there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to film and do at the same time. You need both hands. But like I said, there's those little foam pieces. This sits on top of the foam pieces, so they're underneath here. And then this little recessed area kind of tucks down. So make sure before you take this apart, you get a good look at it.